Now that you have everything prepped ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and put your screws and washers on the bottom side. Now, I think it's easier to just do one at a time. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the GPU first. So just go ahead and put one nylon washer on and stick the screw in through the hole where the stud used to poke through. And you do 4 of them here. Now, you can use Scotch tape is probably the safest thing. You just take a little piece of Scotch tape and just tape the screws down. You can use masking tape or painter's tape. I wouldn't use duct tape or anything with heavy glue on it because you don't want that glue to stick to your circuit board. Now once you've had a chance to let your alcohol dry, make sure that everything's dry on your circuit board and your processor dies, you want to apply a little bit of thermal paste right on the die. Now you don't want to put too much on there, you just need enough to create a little bit of a film over top of it in between the die and the heatsink. Now we're going to do one at a time. I think it's easier just to put paste on one at a time instead of having to deal with both at the same time. So we're just going to apply a little bit. You don't need much. Okay, this is the GPU. Now that we have our paste in place, I'm going to go ahead and put the nylon washers on top of the screws. It's going to be between the board and the heatsink. Make sure you put all 4 of them on. Alright, and you want to set your heatsink on top of the screws, line them up with the holes so that you keep the washers in place. Now you need to get to the screws that are on the bottom, so whatever's the most comfortable position for you, you lift the board up and you can either put it on the edge like this, you can turn it upside down, whatever works for you. I prefer having it on the edge like this and then just taking the screwdriver, poke it right through the tape, just poke it right in there and get your screw started. Just want to get it started. You don't want to tighten it all the way down. Once you get it started, you can take the Scotch tape off if you want, you can leave it on, whatever works for you. And I would just get all 4 of them started. Good. Once you have all 4 screws started, take any excess tape off. And you can tighten them down, but don't tighten them all down and one side to the other. You want to kind of rotate them around a little bit. Tighten a little bit as you rotate around. Don't tighten it all the way down. And tighten a little bit more each time you go around. This will make sure that you don't crack your die. Just like you're putting, a spare tire on your car. If you work your way around the lug nuts, you do the same thing with these screws. Just kind of work your way around until you get them tight. And there's no harm in tightening them down pretty good. Get them real nice and tight. Alright, now that you have your heat sinks bolted in, go ahead and put your board back into your chassis. go ahead and reinstall your DVD drive. You want to make sure that you have your installed DVD drive for a couple reasons. One, which I'll show you with the fan, is that you block the fan from cooling off the GPU, and also make sure you don't start up your Xbox with the DVD removed, or you could get banned from Xbox Live. When you install your fan, do not put your fan shroud in. Go ahead and plug your fan in. Put the labels down. Put one fan blade over top of your DVD drive and one over top of your CPU heatsink. The reason you want to do this is because the CPU is where the heat sensor is, and if it overheats, it'll shut it off. The power, you don't want to shut the power off. You want to continue to overheat your GPU. Now, you also want to plug your power button back in here in the front. You might have to push down the board a little bit so that you can get that to match up. And now you're ready to overheat. Be very careful when you're doing this, because you want to make sure that you don't get shocked. Go ahead and plug your power cord in and turn the power on. Also make sure that you put an AV cable in, because if you don't have an AV cable in, you'll get 4 red lights. You won't know if you get the 3 red lights or not. So go ahead and plug your cables in, turn the power on, and let it overheat, or let it run for 20 minutes. Okay, once you overheat it for 20 minutes, you want to let it cool down for 15 minutes. So you shut it off, don't mess with it for 15 minutes. You want to reassemble it. Make sure you unplug your cables. Go ahead and put your fan back in. And put your fan shroud back in. Plug your cables back in.